What is going on, guys? We're back for episode 3 of the Harv podcast Hurdle series. Today's guest with me is the Bearded Sensai. He's a streamer on Twitch, kind of in and out of that, but also a moderator and has some really cool stories to talk about. Hope you all enjoy it. And again, if you're a smaller content creator, streamer, whatever, and want to sit down and have a chit chat with me, hit me up on all the places that you can. Twitter, here, something in the comments, email me, whatever it works for you to get a hold of me, and we can sit down and have that chat. Looking forward to it. Well, firstly, I want to say thanks for being willing to do this with me. I think it's pretty cool. I'm trying to reach out to a bunch of different people and seeing who's interested and who isn't.
Well, of course. I mean, I appreciate you asking.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I caught. I think when I first found you, I was referenced to one of the charity streams you were doing.
Yeah, it was for the Stop Soldier Suicide charity,
which was a pretty awesome cause. I don't think I could. Once I heard about that, I was like, yeah, I'm stopping by this. This is cool shit. It really is.
Honestly, when I did that, I had no expectation of hitting the goal. Like, I just did it to try to raise money, and then the goal took off quick, and I was like, I'm running out of things to like reward with.
I mean, I don't know. I would be willing to guess it's probably pretty similar especially when you're doing like charity events. I think you get that's where a lot of people just kind of come out of the woodwork, I imagine.
Yeah, honestly, that, and if you put giveaway in your title, I don't know how it is now, but I know it used to be. If you have giveaway in your title, people will come out of nowhere.
Do they?
Yeah,
because they're trying to get something.
Yeah, like, oh, hey, giveaway. Yeah, I'll come hang out.
There you go. Oh my gosh. All right. I was just checking that audio setting real quick. Looks like it's good though. Yeah. So when you is it just Twitch that you're on right now? Are you doing anything else or?
Right now, yeah, it's Twitch. I'm not doing it as often just because I've been putting more focus into school right now. I'll do streams here and there. I've done YouTube videos, but never taken it serious. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just I try to edit videos and I feel like they're not doing well. And so I put them up anyways. And just like, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah. So I think I kind of know how it works because I mess with Twitch a little bit in the beginning. I don't know. So I think there's two different tiers. There's like a partnership tier and then an affiliate tier, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now, are you on either one of those right now or?
I'm on the affiliate. I actually got affiliate in 2018.
Oh shit! Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet dude.
It started in 2018. It started as a joke.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a group of friends playing Fortnite.
Okay.
And one of my buddies is like, "Hey, you won't go live." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I mean, what's going to happen if I do?" I mean, and it was not serious at all. There was things that were said that probably shouldn't have been said, but I mean, it happens. And then a little bit later, I actually found someone and started watching her. She was an Air Force vet, and that's what drew me in. She talked about her career and stuff in the Air Force all the time. Mm-hmm. And I actually met one of my best friends in there. And we just kind of started streaming together, and it just kind of took off. I mean, granted, we were doing 7 days a week, 10-hour streams a day.
10 hours a day?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Every day?
Yes.
Man.
And that went on. That was rough. That was like 8 months of that. I mean, granted, yeah, we had breaks here and there where we just didn't do it. But for the most part, it was 7 days a week for 8 to 10 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was very draining. And we started learning about what they call like streamer drain. And looking back, like we could tell, like you just got fatigued and worn out, and it got to the point where we didn't want to play games.
Oh, I bet.
And it's like, yeah, we can't do that anymore.
Oh man, yeah, I imagine. Whew, gosh, I think at the most I was ever actually live streaming was twice a week for a couple of hours, and even that felt daunting some days. Like, oh, I can't imagine doing 10. I mean, is that common? Like, do you talk to other streamers and they're like, yeah, that's a common thing?
So a lot of quote unquote small streamers, you'll catch them doing every day for extended periods. just trying to thinking, hey, maybe we'll grow like this. If we're live so often, maybe we'll get people in, and it doesn't work like that. We slowly realize that.
So the idea that they're thinking is just like keep grinding over and over and over all day, every day, and then eventually you get noticed. Is that the general concept?
Pretty much, and that's what we were doing. Which even then, I mean, honestly, I can't say that we didn't take it serious, but we didn't put full effort into things.
I get that.
I didn't really start putting full effort into stream stuff until probably last year. So I took 2 years off, started streaming again last May, and started actually putting effort into everything. I ended up getting capture card, microphone, and stuff like that. Because for the most part, I would stream off the PlayStation, straight from the console, with my headset mic. And my headset was 4 years old at the time, so it picked up everything. Every little sound. And then I would use my laptop webcam. So I mean, there was no quality in that. And then I started slowly upgrading everything. And I was like, oh, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to, take it a little bit more serious. But at the same time, I'm not going to be different. I'm not going to change myself just to do this.
I think it's important.
Yeah. So and that's one thing I've noticed a lot is a lot of people get drawn into those that are very active in their stream, like on camera. Like if they donate, they jump around and dance or whatever. And it's like, that's not me.
There's definitely, at the very much, it definitely seems like there are people out there that either like exaggerate their personality under certain circumstances or pretend to be a completely different person. I feel like sometimes it might work if it's like an act you're putting on and you're putting it on and your audience knows you're putting it on, like then maybe it's kind of different. But yeah, right. I feel like anything else is just going to drain you out like even quicker.
Yeah, and like my thing is like, if you're going to do something like this, why? Unless, like you said, unless you're putting on the act, Dr. Disrespect, good example. It's an act. It's a persona.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's his character. But if you're just yourself on there and you're changing the way you act just to bring people in, I don't know. That's not me. I couldn't ever see myself doing that.
Yeah. So, and you've been doing this on Twitch the whole entire time?
Yes.
How do you think Twitch has changed from like when you started streaming to like now?
Depends
for better
on
or worse, either way. It could be good,
I say
good change,
depends
bad
on
change, whatever it is. Yeah.
Depends on how far you want to take that, because it definitely caters to me. It caters to your bigger name people more so than it does the smaller content creators, the ones that are just starting. You see a lot of like the smaller ones getting banned on there for just small things. Like if they say the wrong thing, they're banned for a couple of days. Now, a lot of the bigger streamers, they can get away with things
because they're making somebody money.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's unfortunately, that's almost anywhere you go. It's like the further up the chain you get, the less rules you have to abide by. And
right.
That's so much bullshit. It puts in, I mean, especially if you're a small streamer, like if that happened to me, I'd be like, well, screw this. I'm out. Like, why even bother?
Yeah. It's like, well, why keep going if I say one wrong word or, something slips out or it's something someone doesn't like. And now I'm, done streaming now.
It's a weird concept in like content creation, because I know like especially people that do it full time will tell you they're self-employed and that's what they do, and it feels like not really. Like for me doing stuff on YouTube, if I were to stop, like quit my full time and just do YouTube stuff full time, and that's what I did, in the grand scheme of things, I work for YouTube. I don't work for me. And it seems like if that's the case, at least the businesses that I see that are one of the more successful businesses typically take the time to invest in their employees, regardless of whether they've been there 5 minutes or whether they've been there 30 years.
Right.
And you would think, especially when these companies, these platforms are owned by these companies, that maybe they would try to do that, but that's got to be frustrating. Have you run into that, like where you've said something and somebody's just like banned you?
Honestly, no. And that goes back to like when I first started. Now I said we said things that shouldn't have been said and stuff. Like, I'm surprised that I still have an account. Like, there were very derogative things, and nothing racial and stuff like that. Not that far, but like there were very explicit content that was being said and done.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, like, yeah, I yeah, compared to like what the current TOS is on a lot of these platforms, I guess I kind of see what you're saying. It's gotten a bit more sensitive in a lot of ways. Like, there's certain things that were going to fly 5-6 years ago that aren't going to fly now.
Exactly. Like, I mean, there's even certain games where you can't stream them because of things in them, like things you see.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember what game it was, but there was one game that it was like at the very beginning, there was nudity in it, and people had to switch their scene unless they could skip the cutscene. They had to skip the scene in order not to get in trouble.
That's kind of silly. It's a video game.
Yeah, and it's like, and especially if it's your first time playing, you don't know.
Yeah, how are you supposed to? I didn't even think about that. Yeah, if your first time ever, if you don't know what to expect going in, like, yeah, you get yourself in a lot of trouble, not even on purpose. That's kind of messed up.
Now, if you go all the way to purposely run into it constantly, I can understand that.
Yeah, to a degree, though, I think for me personally, anyway, I tend to shy away from a lot of the whole censorship stuff on a lot of these platforms, mainly because, like, I don't know, I feel like it's up to the viewer's discretion to watch what they want to watch and not watch what they don't want to watch for the most part. But it is kind of like a really gray area when you start seeing like kids jumping on these platforms and watching content creators and shit. I think it's kind of a muddy water.
Right. And see, now what that is, you could set your channel on Twitch to 18 plus.
Okay.
But there's ways around it.
I was gonna say there's really no way to guarantee it, right? It's like,
yeah.
I mean, how do you prove that? Like, all I need is an email address. Like,
yeah, an email address, and then you just type in
maybe. Yeah.
If you can pick a year that's 18 years old, there you go. You have an 18-year-old account.
Yeah.
And it's like, but how am I going to be held accountable if someone underage comes in? I have the warning on there.
I agree. I don't think you should be held accountable. I think that's like, I think that's just an excuse for parents not watching what the hell's going on.
Oh yeah, that's a big topic.
Yeah, it's kind of everywhere though. Like, I don't think you should be, to a degree, right? Like, there's certain things you just, like, if you're a serial killer and you're posting your stuff on the internet, probably not such a hot idea, right?
Yeah,
like,
probably not.
But nudity in a video game, like, I don't know. I feel like if somebody's getting bothered by that, they could just change the channel just like they could do anywhere else.
Yeah. If you don't like it, leave. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
And if some parent's going to get mad about it, and they're like, I don't know, watch your kids. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Pay attention to what they're watching.
Yeah, especially when you got it marked for like 18 plus. Like, that was, yeah. That's kind
of. One of my friends actually told me yesterday. So she had an emote. It was a cucumber that had a balloon over it. It got banned. It got reported and banned off of there. And she had to make a whole new emote. It's like, it's an 18 plus channel. And it's a cucumber with a balloon.
Oh my God.
Granted, did it symbolize something else? Yes, but I mean, still.
Yeah, but that's why you're doing it, right? Because you don't want something like the actual thing as an emote on there. So that's why you do it. And then they're still like, no, that's not good enough.
It's like, it's clearly a joke. Come on, laugh a little.
Yeah, it's so weird. And but I definitely agree with the rules seem to apply to some people and not others, and that's kind of a bummer. Man, yeah. I think from the outside looking in, because I've only ever I streamed on Twitch maybe like 4 or 5 times, and there's a few streamers that I watch on there. The medium has definitely changed a lot. It feels like in the beginning it was everybody's playing video games, and that's pretty much all they were doing, and now there's
hot tubs.
Oh God. I'm so like, I don't know how much you want to talk about that because I don't want to get you in trouble if you're affiliate on Twitch, but okay,
with that, I can pull up VODs of me talking about those streams and saying how it's dumb. Like, why is that allowed? That's one thing with me is like, when new people come into my channel, I show up let them know it's like, I don't care what I say here. I was like, and if you don't like something I do here, you can let me know and stuff, but you can also just, close the tab. You don't have to be here.
Exactly.
I'm running the show here. I know what to say, what not to say, how far to take things. If you don't like it, I mean, it's not that hard to just leave.
Mm.
But yeah, it's me and my buddy, we've gone in on the hot tub streams and have talked down on them.
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to caveat this with, and I'd be curious to see, like, if I talk. There's a few female content creators that I've reached out to, and if this topic comes up, I'd be curious to see how they feel about it, because I feel like from a woman's perspective, this might enlighten me a little bit. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you're not breaking any laws or hurting anybody, like, do what you want to do to a degree, right?
Right.
But I've definitely seen and heard other women on Twitch or on other platforms that are not doing things like that catch a bunch of shit from people because they're not doing that.
Right. One person I mod for, she doesn't do anything like that. She's an art streamer.
Mm-hmm.
And she had someone come into her chat not too long ago, actually, and just straight up, very first message, "Can you take off your shirt?"
Jesus.
And so I immediately banned. And so I'm sitting there going, I was like, okay, was it a joke about in the game? Because I mean, obviously in ARC, underwear streams, naked runs.
Right. Yeah.
Or was he meaning real life? It's like, but I'm not going to let it go to where it can go that far. And someone else came in speaking Spanish, and I translated it, asking her to get pregnant by a reaper and show her belly. And I was just like, no. Like, come on.
Oh boy.
And it's just like
with the context, because I understand the game and I understand the action that's happening, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
like things are like actually being shown, but it's really difficult to know what the intentions are behind that.
Right. And as a mod, I see it. Like I'm immediately banning, because it's like I'm not trying to let it go far. Try not to let the rest of the chat see it.
That's true, because who knows? I could push it further. Oh God, yeah, that's a weird situation to be in.
Oh yeah, and it's just like it goes back. That's where I kind of stand with the whole hot tub streams. Is like Twitch allows that, and so now I don't either. Well, I do money.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
they're bringing in so much money off it. Which I mean, hey, I guess that's how it goes now. But it's just like, but now you're opening up to more people coming in and like, hey, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah, and so the other parts of that I thought about, I was like, well, to a degree, I can only blame the streamer that is doing that sort of shit. I can only blame them to a degree, right? At the end of the day, there's a community of sycophants that are watching this and contributing to it for whatever reason, and then running around harassing other women because they're not doing that.
Right.
I don't avidly see any hot tub streamer running around going, "That's what you need to do. Tell all these other women to do it too." Like, they're not doing that. But at the same time, I think there is a small amount of responsibility that is on their shoulders, because they're almost enabling it.
Right. And like you said, like if that's what they want to do, I mean, it's your channel. You do it. If they're going to allow it, do it. I mean, cool. But like you said, now it's affecting others.
Yeah,
that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, there's a weird line there, and I don't know where you would even begin to balance that shit, other than just chopping it off the platform. But you're right; it comes down to money. They ain't gonna do it.
No,
they ain't gonna do it. I mean, between just chatting and that. I mean, shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, when they make a whole category, because it was just chatting, and now they have a branched category off of that for hot tubs, pools, spas, or whatever. So they made a whole category. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like, okay.
Like, is that really what you just? I don't know.
I mean, I make jokes all the time. It's like, I'm gonna get a blow up hot tub and sit in it on stream. I mean,
swear to God.
Am I going to get people to come in and watch?
I don't know. I guess maybe I'd need to talk to somebody that actually does that, to ask them, like, is it literally just the money? Is that the reason why you're doing it? Because you have to know that there's going to be a level of judgment that's going to be over your head for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's on the internet. It's never going away.
Yeah, I just, man, I really wish they would rethink what they're doing there. Plus, there's plenty of women that are successful content creators that aren't doing that shit.
Right.
But yeah, it's a weird catch. But I mean, I guess on the plus note, because of that, there's so many platform changes. There's other things going on too. You know, there's definitely, I've even seen like political debates and all sorts of other podcasts and stuff like that going on. So I guess some of that's good too. But
yeah, I mean, I know there's sports talk shows. I've watched a couple of those. Like you said, yeah, there's the politics, there's news, which I mean, it's cool. I mean, I see nothing wrong with that. With the platform growing, why not do it?
True.
I mean, so you're going to have numerous people watching, YouTube, Twitch, or what's the other one? Kick now.
Yeah.
So why not allow having those podcasts where they can't stream highlights or the full game, but they can talk about it?
It's true.
So now people are going to come in and watch these.
Yeah, and there's a bit, especially with all the other like different platforms that are doing that now. In a lot of ways, I mean, I don't know if I watch any on Twitch, but there's definitely a few like quote unquote news channels that I watch on YouTube that I seem to get more of the truth out of, and it seems. I think that's probably a good thing for the most part, provided they're being honest. But it's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, well, I mean, even now, I mean, you can watch full-on court cases.
Your mic went out, I think. You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. All right, I lost you at full-on court cases.
Oh yeah, so you can watch full-on court cases on YouTube.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
for sure. Yeah. Which
again, I see nothing wrong with. Like, if that's what you're into, if you like watching that stuff, go for it. Why not? You can see what's going on, get an idea. But so, like, I mean, there is definitely, like you said, there's definitely a lot of positives on both platforms.
For sure. What do you think? I think in your time of doing Twitch, what do you think is the most, like, one of the most positive things you've seen change?
Things I've seen change,
like improvement between then and now.
I would definitely say so. Definitely Twitch. Coming from Twitch point of view, Twitch's homepage has definitely improved. So it's not just, hey, at the top of the stream, here's streamers that we're promoting that you should go watch. I can scroll through there and I see recommended streamers for games I play. Maybe it's people that I follow. It's someone that they follow. Go watch them. And so, like, I'm starting to see that more, and I'm starting to find more and more, lower tier content creators. Because to me, I don't really watch a lot of like your big name streamers. I don't find them as entertaining just because everything's so chaotic and busy in their chat and stuff. Whereas like the lower tier, smaller group, you kind of get that more gratification from them. Like if you pop in and say hi,
connected, yeah, like a tighter community, maybe, yeah,
right. And it's like I'm not taking anything away from the bigger ones. They've done the grind. They've built their community, built up. I just feel more connected to them just because you can interact with them more easier.
I completely, I understand that. Yeah, I think like for me, like one of the bigger streamers I watch that I used to watch on Twitch might have been like somebody like Lupo, right?
Oh yeah.
And I would watch him play Tarkov because I sucked at Tarkov, so I wanted to watch
it.
So I something. I wasn't really there to interact with his chat because, I mean, what's the chances that I'm going to type in hi and he's going to stop what he's doing and go, oh my God,
Right.
So yeah, but you feel a tighter community with the smaller content creators for sure. I think.
And then, like you said, for like bigger ones, yeah, like playing game. I used to watch Lupo every day do Tarkov. I watch Pestily. He's Australian streamer. Tarkov.
Yeah. Yep.
Obviously, really good. So I learned a lot from them playing Tarkov, and I could never translate it.
Me neither.
So I'm still bad. I uninstalled it not too long ago because it was just sitting there.
I did it a while back too. It's like one of the, and I used to talk to one of the guys, other guys with Violent used to play with me every now and then. And I would always describe it as the game that I really loved, but was absolute shit at.
Right. And it's one of those games where, yeah, you can die over and over, but it's that adrenaline rush. You keep wanting to go again until you have no gear.
It's playing blackjack, yeah. You
pretty much
screw up over and over to that one time you hit 20. Oh yeah. The one time you hit is great. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Playing roulette with it. It's fun though. That's
yeah,
cool.
So I watch a lot of them on YouTube now. Just go back and watch their VODs or whatever, and just kind of keep up with things that they're doing. There is one streamer on Twitch that I constantly watch. His name's Weekend. He plays Smite, which is a game I play. He was
that's
a pro
a big
player.
one you do, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He was a pro player, and so I kind of watch him, and he's very arrogant, but you look past it, and it's just his personality. I mean, he's good. He's good at the game.
Yeah.
He can back it up. And so many people hate him because of that, because of his arrogance and stuff. But if you watch him, he talks things through. He does a lot of coaching videos, like teaching people how to get better at the game. Granted, the way he does it sometimes isn't always the best. You kind of have to be thick-skinned to take the criticizing. But again, like, I mean, I can sit there and watch him all day and not have a problem. Like, I laugh at some of the things he says. I mean,
it all comes down to personality, I think. But I do agree with what you said about the front page on Twitch, like changing a little bit, because discoverability on Twitch used to be absolutely horrible, and it seems like they're getting a little bit better at it. Like, they got a lot of more work to do, but they've definitely made some steps.
You can see that they're starting to really help with the smaller groups and stuff to get noticed, get seen, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm glad somebody's doing it, because YouTube sure as hell ain't doing it. At least it doesn't seem like they are anyway. Like,
well, see, okay, so I found you through actually my mom. Oh,
yeah,
Marine MP mom or MP Marine, whatever it is, and so I actually started watching your what was it? What was the map you did before Fjorder? I can't remember the name
for
of it.
Arc.
Yeah. It was a modded map, I want to say.
I'd have to go back and the one that they didn't finish, so I had to like make up an excuse to switch maps around.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it either.
Cataclysm?
No, it wasn't Cataclysm. Oh man, what the hell was that map called? I can't. Anyway, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember either. So
that's actually the first series I watched of yours, and led into Fjorder when, and that transition was amazing. You just fall out of the air, and so that's actually how I started watching you. I actually had to, even though I subscribed to you, was watching the videos, I had to go to your channel to find the videos instead of it popping up on the homepage.
Yeah, the notifications and popping up on homepage stuff doesn't work that well.
Yeah, there was times where I would get notifications for not only you, but for other ones I follow.
Yeah.
I'd get them like 2-3 days later.
Yeah, and the other thing that I notice is, like, so I have a bunch of other channels that I subscribe to and watch avidly, and the bigger ones always show up on my home screen. The smaller ones never do. I gotta hunt them down to find out what they've been doing what they've been doing or what they've been up to. Yeah. I really wish they would start to adopt some of that stuff to try to look for to promote their smaller creation. But I mean, I don't know. The jury's still out on whether or not they'll ever do that. I doubt it. I wish they would, but it is what it is. But I think that's also why you're starting to get a lot of these other platforms popping out too, because people are tired of some of the shit that's going on.
Yeah, and you see a lot of them popping up, but they don't last. And it's like, why are you not lasting though? Like, what's going on? And it's just I think they're trying too hard to mimic. And so I hopped on Kick. I made an account mainly to keep my name just in case.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I made an account just so I can get my name. And I was sitting there looking. I was like, it's so much like Twitch. Like, it's Twitch with a different name in different color.
Yeah, I went on there and did the same thing. Like a lot of these places start up, I go over there and make an account just in case I want to use it for something. But you're right, it pretty much look. But I wonder if that's because they're directly trying to compete, so they want to make they're thinking that the viewer base likes the way that the channel is set up, so that they're trying to mimic that to keep people interested.
It might be. To me, I still miss like Mixer. Like the layout of it, it wasn't that great of a platform, but the layout was good.
I like that too. I never really messed with it too much until a buddy of mine, Raptor. When my buddy of mine, Raptor, when he was streaming on there, that was probably one of the few times I ever really got involved in Mixer.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like the interface. I thought it was actually done really well.
I think the thing that drew me in is the colors, though.
Yeah,
I'm a blue
fair
guy.
Enough, fair enough. Yeah, but it wasn't. Sometimes too much is bad, and it felt like Mixer was kind of simplistic, but it didn't seem like it was simplistic in the way that it was missing something. It felt like it was purposely designed that way.
Yeah, and I think a big thing with it is with it being Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of hurt things a little bit because you could stream directly to it from Xbox, but not PlayStation. So now a lot of your console streamers, you're losing out there.
Yeah,
you know, not everyone can afford a computer and a capture card and stuff like that. So they stream from their consoles.
Yeah, it's true. You pretty much cut every console out but Xbox at that point. Like
right.
Your Xbox or your decent PCs are the only ones that are going to be able to do it. I didn't even really think about that. Yeah.
And that is one thing about Twitch and YouTube. It's nice is they have that on every console. I don't know about Switch. I don't know much about the Switch.
I don't either. But I know I've only seen people streaming from the Switch. Yeah, you can definitely do that.
I didn't know. I haven't really messed with it. Most I did was play my buddies and play Super Smash Brothers.
They had some like crazy hookup way of doing it, but I've definitely seen people doing that from a Switch somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean that's one thing that's nice about them. And obviously, Kick just starting, they don't have it. And it's like, how long are they going to be around to be able to do that? And are they going to be able to?
Yeah, that's the big question. I don't know though. You could say the same thing for somebody like Rumble that's clearly trying to compete with YouTube a bit, and they seem to be doing fairly well. But I think they have a different angle for the most part. I think they're very like anti-censorship and bring anybody over, and what you end up seeing is a lot of people that get banned from YouTube will just go to Rumble.
They got to go somewhere.
I mean, but it's working though, because there's a lot of bigger names that are over there and they're getting views and things are happening. So I don't know. I think at least it seems like the draw from Kick seems to be from a monetary standpoint. The percentages are divvied up a lot differently.
Yeah. From what I've seen is the streamers are getting a bigger cut than what Kick is. And at the same time, depending on how many of their affiliates they have, I think they're called affiliates there. I don't know. Are they going to lose money?
Yeah, it sounds good on paper, but is it a little too top heavy? Or like, are you not leaving enough room to sustain the company at that point? Like, I don't know. Right. I don't know. Like, I know some of the people moving over that seem to be involved are pretty well off, so maybe they're doing something with that. I have no idea, but
yeah. See, that's one thing. Like, if Twitch would do what Kick is doing with the revenue, I think it would be so much better, because Twitch doesn't need that big of a cut. I mean, anybody that knows Twitch knows who runs it.
Yeah. It's not hurt for cash.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if you lower the cut, like, to make it a little bit more even, you're not going to lose anything. Now with Kick, with it being smaller, it's not a big company and stuff. Like you said, it might be a little top heavy. You may lose money. You may go under now.
Yeah, I guess it's a catch-22. I don't really know how the back end set up or how it's paid for or how it's created. I mean, obviously, if you're a smaller platform, you have less of an overhead as well too, though. So your normal expenses are probably substantially lower than they are on Twitch.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. Plus, they don't. It seems like they're kind of going the same way. At least they seem to have the same angle of as far as like people that typically get banned off of somebody like Twitch will roll over to Kick for that reason.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they can say things that they can't say somewhere else, you know.
Yeah, I think I need to switch to Kick so I don't end up getting banned.
Well, so with the affiliate, I know there is some things that regarding your streams right now. Are you allowed to use them anywhere else? Like, are you allowed to multi-streamer at all?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I read something somewhere where Twitch was allowing it. I don't know if it's just for partners, if it's for affiliates only or not. I haven't really tried. I mean, I've streamed on YouTube a couple times as an affiliate, but that was back in 2018 when I was really getting things going.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't really tried it since.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know that because I've actually been contemplating streaming again. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I don't know. I've been ping ponging it back in my head, but I'm actually thinking about using StreamYard, what we're using now, to record the video for live streams because it has a built-in restream that I can push out to like multiple locations at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I went back because I'm partnered with YouTube. So I went back and looked at YouTube just to make sure that was like legit, that I wasn't going to get in trouble for any of that. And I can't see anywhere where I will be. But I thought I remember with Twitch, it was something like the first like 24 or 48 hours of your stream, like Twitch, it belongs to like Twitch and nobody else. But then after that, you can do what you want or some shit like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, that I don't know. I mean, I've gone in and I've downloaded the VODs and gone in and cut a couple clips out or whatever and threw it into a makeshift video and threw it up on YouTube. I mean, so I don't know. I don't know how strict they are. And honestly, I don't know if it's more so, like I said, your partner streamers where they know who you are.
Right.
Because I mean, their affiliate's so easy to get. So it's like anyone can do it.
What do you have to do to get to the affiliate?
You need 50 followers, have 3 average viewers, and stream for like 7 days in a month or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I mean, yeah, granted, the followers are a little hard. The viewership's really not that bad because, I mean, you start your stream, you open your stream up on your phone, there's a viewer. So, I mean,
okay, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
And you have a couple friends come in. Okay, so now you have your 3 views.
Yeah, just come in and hang out for a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. See, I had a little help with mine. Like I said, the streamer that I met that was in the Air Force, her name was Blondie. She kind of guided me and my buddy Chogs, who was actually helping me with the charity stream, helping us kind of get affiliate. And I mean, she rated me once with 800 views.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was freaking out. And then another one with like 400. So, I mean, I had my 3 average.
Oh my
just off
God.
That.
What was that feeling like?
So the 800 one was hilarious.
Yeah.
I just got Nightbot set up. Still had no idea how to use it. We're in the middle of a Fortnite match. Just hit a firefight. She raided. Nightbot started banning everyone.
Oh my God.
And it was hilarious. Because the filter was set for the emote spam and the caps lock spam. So everyone who's just getting banned. So it's like, I think at the end of it, there was like 400 people banned or something like that. And I'm like,
holy shit.
So I catch her. She's like, hey, mod me. She's like, mod me real quick. And I was like, okay. And she was able to fix things. I was like, well, welcome to streaming, I guess.
Still, though, that's kind of, that's a fun story, actually.
That will always be my favorite streaming story.
Oh, I bet.
Always. Because it's like, I mean, that's when I first started.
Man, when I started streaming, it was on Twitch and it was ARC related stuff. Any content creation I was doing was ARC related because it's just what I was comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And I remember I only streamed on Twitch maybe a dozen times, and there was I got rated by, it was only like maybe like 14 or 15 people, but I like kind of flipped my shit. I did not expect that. It's always kind of cool.
even now, like if I get a raid with over 10, I'm just like, there's people here. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, I've had 20, 25 people in the stream, but with 5 or 6 people talking. But when that happens and they're all talking, you're like, hey everyone, yeah, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to talk to everyone. And it's like, I get very awkward.
I feel you. I think that's natural though, right? Like it's especially when everybody like chat starts showing up and like if donations start happening and things like that. I still like even now if I turned on a live stream now and somebody like tipped money, I typically don't know how to react.
Yeah, that was my thing with the charity stream when people were donating. I was just like, thanks. It was like I and it's like it's not like I'm not appreciative. It's just I don't know what to do. Like, hey, do I dance? Do I jump around? Like,
yeah,
I'll give you
like,
a thanks.
You don't want to be fake, but you want to be appreciative at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you. I have the same problem. I don't know how you. I can only assume that eventually you get used to it, and then the people doing it probably understand, like, can read you pretty well at that point, probably.
Yeah. So, like during that stream, it was actually during one of the breaks. I was talking to my buddy Chogs. I was like, dude, like, I don't know how to act to this. He's like, no, you're doing fine. He's like, anyone that knows you knows like how you are, knows that you're just calm and relaxed like that. And that's just how you react to things. It's like, well, yeah, I know, but it's like, I feel like people think I'm just taking money now. Like, obviously it's going straight to the charity, but like, you know what I'm trying to say.
No, I get it. I think it's hard to, yeah. There's a weird balance there, and I think it comes down to like personality as well. But yeah, if you're more reserved and laid back, and I can relate to that because typically I'm pretty monotone for the most part. I get riled up just like anybody else. But yeah, it's a weird catch where you want to make sure that they appreciate what they've done, but you're also like not going to be something that you're not. Yeah,
right. And see, like I'm a naturally nervous guy. Gotcha. Until I get relaxed and I'm around people I know, or like I get to know someone better, and now I open up. I'm just like, hey, like I'm this crazy person, wild and stuff. But before that, I'm nervous. Like still to this day, before I go live, I get nervous. Same. I don't know why.
Same for me. It's I don't know if it's for you, but for me, it's definitely a bit of social anxiety. I think it's still
yeah.
You know, and the people that know me and know me well might not see that because I'm comfortable with them, and I can that comfort is there. Once the comfort's there, like this light switch ticks up and I'm good. But you almost never, at least I don't feel like I've ever really been there 100% in a stream because you never know who's going to show up. It's like meeting, you never know what strangers are going to pop by, you know?
Yeah. And like, I mean, I don't know how many streams I've done, and I have no problem doing it. Where I go live, no one comes, and it's just me. You know, I'm just hanging out, doing my thing, and then someone will pop up, and I'm just like, "Oh, hey, welcome in. How you doing?" I'm just like, I wasn't expecting this because it's I've been live for 2 hours and no one's been here. And now, where did you come from? Who are you? And it's like, it's not so much I'm not appreciative. It's just when you're streaming for that long with no one there. And then someone shows up, you're just like, oh, what did I do to deserve this? Like, you're one person, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think it's weird to apply to streams because, and just content creation in general, because you don't see that actual person, right? Like, you see messages in a chat. Like, you have no idea what that person is, where they come from, what they think, how they're feeling, how their day's going, their tone of voice, body, like nothing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot. It's different than if you were like at your house and somebody showed up and knocked on the door. You know what I mean? Like it's a different feeling, I think, and I can definitely relate to what you're talking to quite a bit.
And see, like sometimes I had the webcam on, sometimes I don't, and I think when I had the webcam on, people kind of see it more. Like, okay, he's not just some asshole that is on here. he's actually reacting. But when they just hear my voice, they're like, "Oh well, is he actually glad I'm here, or is he just saying it?"
Yeah, I would argue it's probably important for people like us that have that personality to have the camera on when we're streaming because of that. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, mine just likes to act up and not always work.
Well, I think it's touch and go, right? Like, I think if you're surrounded with people that have the same sort of natural, like, social feeling that you do, it's probably not necessary because you can, like, pick up on it and you can read those cues because you're kind of the same way. But
right,
I hear you though. If you're going live on stream and you're trying to get people to watch, yeah.
It's just like, and another big thing is like music. And that's another thing with Twitch is the whole copyright music. And I get the business behind it. I just think it's dumb that they can sit there and mute VODs and stuff. It's like, man, like.
Yeah, I mean, so I feel two different ways about it. From the first part, I mean, before Twitch was even a thing, in theory, it was illegal to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So who I don't feel for is the people who had like made millions of dollars off the platform and then got mad because they had to delete old VODs because they were afraid they were going to get trouble. I'm like, you knew what you were doing was wrong, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I feel like you kind of have to think about it, right? So like, I personally think that if you're, because from my understanding, it's the labels that are going after this shit, not the actual artists themselves.
Yes, it is the labels.
Yeah, and I don't know. For me, it kind of depends on the subject matter, right? Like, if I was the label and I wanted the music to get out there more, like, wouldn't I encourage that actually instead of turn it down?
That is the same argument that I have. So
like, it's free advertising. It's no different. I mean, people don't come to you saying Smite isn't coming to you saying stop playing our video game on on this platform. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Like you're promoting it. And so one of the bands I listen to, Falling in Reverse.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Ronnie, the lead singer, he streams on Twitch.
Yeah.
And he went on Twitch. He's like, this is my music. These are my songs. I own these. No one owns them. I do. If you want to play them, play them. He's like, why would I not want why would I not want my music out there? Why would I want it to be blocked off something where it can't reach other people?
Does any of his music get blocked now?
No.
Oh, okay, well that's good.
Yeah, there's people that had strikes on their videos because of it, and they sent it to him. And he messaged Twitch, like he directly got a hold of him. He's like, yeah, no, like this isn't happening.
Yeah, if you're a musician, you pretty much got to be. The problem is he's in a situation where he owns it, which is good. But if you're under a label that isn't you, then you're kind of at the mercy of them, which sucks. But honestly, I mean, I don't know. These days, I kind of feel like, what the hell's the purpose of a record label anymore? But
yeah, it honestly, the I don't know what you want to call them, the indie. No, not indie.
Well, independent artists, right?
Yeah, a lot of their music sounds better than anything under label, anyways.
I kind of agree. I've been a bit more attracted to that, and then a lot of those people have went back and gave permission and written documentation where you can use their music on your platform too. Right.
There's actually a underground rapper. His name's Echo. He does a lot of nerd music, is what I call it. He's done like Star Wars raps and comic books and stuff like that, and it's really good.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually tweeted to him.
Your mic went out again, I think. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
No, I heard tweeted to him.
Yeah, the internet's being weird. So I tweeted out to him and asked, hey, are we allowed using your music on Twitch, like to stream it? So he's like, yeah, go for it. And it's like you said, why would labels not want that?
Well, yeah, and so the other thing that I was thinking about, actually, because YouTube started doing this, where it's in their beta right now. But what they do is they allow you to use a song that's copywritten, right? So when you upload a video on YouTube, you can say whether or not if you're using that music or song or whatever, you put it in there, and you actually have a couple of different choices now. Like, one, it gets muted and you just deal with it, right? Like you just suck it up like you always did. But there's another option where a percentage of the revenue that you generate off that video is now redirected towards the creator of that music.
Am I back?
You're back.
Oh, this internet.
It's so good.
There's so many issues with it. And it's like there's been new lines put in and everything. I don't know what's going on.
That's usually the culprit, actually. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, so like you were saying about doing that revenue back to the artists, I see no problem with that. I mean, you're using their music anyway, so why not?
Yeah, it's kind of like paying for a Spotify subscription at that point.
Yeah,
it's really no different. But I wonder if, and I almost thought there might have been a niche for this if you were a person that really liked to have music in their streams or content creation in general. Like, I almost feel like that's a great opportunity for streamers and video creators to work with like local talent that hasn't made it big yet. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's probably a really good opportunity where you could go to somebody like that isn't making it big and making all this money and go, hey, listen, can I use your stuff on my channel? You get free advertisement. I'll put something in the description or throw something across the screen, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if we'll see more of that or not. I don't know.
There's actually a band from where I'm from. I've played some of their music on stream.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask them, but they're like that. They're smaller and stuff. And actually, one of Mom's cousins is married to one of the guitarist's dad. So it's like
cool.
I know him.
Close then, yeah.
So it's like, and they've played in Nashville. They've played all over. So it's like I'm advertising their music for them. And they're on Spotify, so it's like, well, I don't see an issue. I'm promoting your music, so, and I mean, like I said, I've never had a problem with them.
Yeah, I think that's cool, man.
Yeah, like you said, promotion
for sure. Yeah, everybody kind of wins in that regard. Mm-hmm. I think. Yeah. That was always two-edged sword with that. And honestly, like when I started streaming on Twitch, that's what I did. I had like Spotify playing, and then when I went back to look at the VODs, I realized they were muted, and I was like, all right, why is it muted? Well, it's muted because it's copyrighted music. So then I went and looked at the copyright laws and how does that work? And I was like, oh shit, I'm not allowed to do this. This is illegal.
Well, now you can't even so not only is the VOD muted, but if you're playing music, and I played a lot of Battlefield, and I did a lot of sniping on Battlefield. Every time I'd do like 6 snipes and stuff, I would clip it myself or have someone clip it.
Yeah.
I would go back and the clip's not saved.
Son of a bitch, delete it?
If there is copyright music in it, it will delete the clip. The clip will not save.
Oh, the other thing they really shouldn't do, the thing they should probably adopt is another thing that YouTube adopted during this whole mess. Was they actually implemented a feature where you can mute the music off and leave everything else on.
So
sometimes the audio gets a little wonky, but it actually works.
So Twitch doesn't have that, but there's a way to set up your OBS and stuff to where your music's on a different track. Gotcha. And there's a setting within there, where it doesn't pick up on VODs, which is what I do now.
It's probably the best thing to do at that point. Yeah, that's kind of bummer that it has to go down that rabbit hole. I wish they would just, I don't know. That seems like I don't know. The whole taking down of all the videos and muting all of them just seemed like, while technically from a legal standpoint, I understood because at some point Twitch could be liable for that, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like they could have just, I don't know. I felt like they could have just done better as far as finding a solution to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of Battlefield snipes that I lost out on.
It sucks, man.
Yeah, I have a couple. I made a couple montages, and I'm just sitting there looking. I was like, man, they would look so much better with some of those other ones.
I mean, honestly, I would recommend like taking that shit, and then when you're done with it, like throw it on YouTube. Like just throw the whole thing on YouTube.
Yeah, I've thought about it, and I don't feel like sitting there waiting for the whole VOD to download.
If it's anything like the upload stuff on YouTube, you just download it and walk away. Go do something else. Come back to it later.
True.
Same thing with YouTube uploads. I'll upload it the day before or 2 days before, and then I'll just ignore it and let it do its thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm very impatient.
I understand. I have had to kind of learn that myself too. Yeah.
There's times where I'll download a game onto the PlayStation, I'll put it in rest mode so it'll download quicker. 5 minutes later, I'll turn it back on to check it, and I'll just keep checking. I need to quit. It's like it's not going to download that quick.
Is it done yet? Yeah, is it done yet? It's like watching the microwave.
Yep. Except for your food's not cool when it comes out.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you keep stopping it and checking it. Oh, so I mean, obviously, video games seem like they were kind of part of your life before the streaming. Am I correct there?
Oh, very much.
Yeah. So was it just always since childhood? Like, what's the story?
4 years old.
4.
It had a Sega Genesis.
Oh, I remember those things.
Yeah, I love those things.
Yeah.
Games are very hard back then because you can't save.
Yeah, it was all about checkpoints.
Yep. Or sometimes you had a little level code, and you had to write it down to know what level you're on.
Yeah.
I mean, I played a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game, which still huge Power Rangers fan. An X-Men game. Let's see here.
I probably played the same X-Men game. I remember that.
You had like 4 or 5 characters to pick from.
Yep.
Yeah. Page Master was still one of my favorite movies, and it was one of my favorite games. It was so much fun. And even played some Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
Had no idea what was going on. I just, didn't understand what was happening in it.
4, you're just kind of doing stuff just to do it. Yeah. It's a different level of engagement. Yeah.
And then here I am, celebrating this year's 30 years since Mortal Kombat came out, and I'm celebrating that. I'm like, oh, looking back, why was I playing this at 4 years old there, Mom? Why was you letting this happen? Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a little bit different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I went from...
Honestly, I think a lot of parents just didn't know. Like, a lot of parents just assumed it was video games. It's harmless. It doesn't have that sort of stuff in it. Like,
well, I mean, that was the first game that was ever like that. As bad as it was, that's the very first game.
Well, I mean, obviously, like spin-offs of stuff, but yeah, you're probably right there. Yeah.
Well, Mortal Kombat 1 is the reason why the ESRB rating is in play.
Is it really?
Yes.
I didn't.
It is.
That.
Yep.
Wow. Huh. Learn something new every day. I actually didn't know that. I assumed it was something like that, but I didn't know it was actually that.
Yep, that was the very first game to get the M rating and everything. I mean, it's a cool feature. I mean, and for the last 30 years. I mean,
clearly the rating system didn't kill it.
No.
It was like
surprising
a following behind that one for sure. Yeah.
I'm part of it.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's cool.
So yeah, even had a Sega CD.
I was actually about to ask you that. We had one too.
I don't remember the game that we played on all the time. But I had one.
It was some game, because my brother's 7 years older than me, so of course I saw him playing it, and I thought it was cool, even though I was sucked at it. But it was like this game where you were like flying a ship through tunnels, like shooting at things.
Yes.
It was like giant rats and like a bunch of other. You were like basically like a sewage cleaner, but in a spaceship, like shooting at shit. Yeah.
Okay, so
I remember that though.
Okay, so is that like the only game that was on Sega CD?
It might have been. It might. There, you know what? There was another one where it was like this other like flying game, but everything was like built in like lines, like nothing. There was no graphics to it really.
It was like a flight simulator type deal.
Sort of, kind of, but there was like combat and stuff. But everything was like line work. It was like almost like they made everything out of wires, and that's what you played. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember a whole. I definitely remember those 2 games. I don't know why, but yeah.
Those are the only 2 games I remember on that. I don't know if there were any other ones.
I think Sega CD was like a little bit before its time, and I don't think anybody adjusted to it or was ready for it. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they dropped the Dreamcast, and it was like one of the best things ever, at least to me.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, not only Dreamcast, but then you had PlayStation and all the other ones that came out. Yeah, that was when the CDs really got popular. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went from the Sega to the 64, and then from 64 to Dreamcast. And there's one game. Okay, I lied. There's 2 games that I would drop money to buy a Dreamcast and pay whatever amount of money to get these 2 games. One is called Spawn in the Demon's Hand.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so the comic book Spawn.
Yep.
So many hours playing that game. So many all-nighters with my buddy. And then the other one is Sega Bass Fishing.
Second bass fishing. What's the importance here?
I don't know. It was just so much fun.
You're just ready. Okay. All right.
And it even had the fishing reel controller.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yep.
I was never really into that sort of genre of game, but I distinctly remember that.
So I remember, I don't remember what year, but I remember one Thanksgiving. We're all at the house and stuff. And all of a sudden, my grandma and grandpa were playing it too. My grandpa, he's a huge fisherman. Like that's his life. That's what he did.
Yeah.
They ended up going out and buying themselves a Dreamcast just to buy that game. And he would sit in his basement and play that.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like, and I think that's a big thing with it is just that memory and everything like that. So it's like, but at the same time, it was fun and nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely nostalgia. And yeah, there's certain games that I think that's kind of natural though. You definitely think of those like memories. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't ever remember my dad playing console actually until he was older. But I definitely remember him playing PC when I was growing up, and then my brother playing on the consoles. Yeah.
Yeah. See, we were all console growing up. I never had a PlayStation. Stepdad had a PlayStation 2. Me and my brother had an original Xbox. I got a 360. And then when I came back from deployment in 2012, I got a PS3 and have been PlayStation since. And then I'd play PC every now and then. I used to play Black Hawk Down all the time on PC. Was never good at it, but I would go online and play. And then a couple years ago, a certain someone, my mother, got us all hooked on Ark.
Oh, so she's the culprit.
Yes, she is the culprit. And the reason why at one point there was 3 people playing Ark at the same time in the same house on three different systems.
That's cool. That's fun though, especially when the family's together doing stuff like that. It doesn't really matter what you're doing as long as you're doing it together. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
My dad plays Diablo now on the Xbox actually.
Oh yeah, we're not going to get her started on Diablo. I was never really into them. I played 3 a little bit. I'll probably get 4 to do something new.
So I remember playing the first and second one on the PC. I remember my dad playing that. I think my uncle played it before too. 2 of my uncles I think played it, and he was always, I think he was fascinated with the mechanics of the game, the way that it played, right? And up until that time, I'd never really seen him do anything. I'd never really played an actual console. And then it almost felt like it was overnight. I just came over one day and he's playing Diablo on Xbox. I'm like, oh, what's up?
This is new.
Cool, yeah, it was. It's cool.
And see, so before they started playing Ark, pretty much the only games they played were Assassin's Creed games. They have owned every single one. Mm-hmm. They love them, which I mean, I love them too. And it's the history aspect, and that's what I think that's what drew a lot of people into those games.
For sure, yeah,
it's the history.
Sure. There were some cool features like Black Flag with the pirate ships and shit like that I think made kind of some waves in the gaming. Not 100, but yeah, I think the different histories I think would drew a lot of people. I was definitely one of them for sure.
I hated Black Flag because of the boots. I couldn't drive them. I could not do the boats. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, I loved the concept of the game. I couldn't do the boats. So, and it dropped to the bottom of the list for me.
I don't know if I played many more of them after that. I felt like they were fun and interesting, but it almost felt like you were kind of doing the same thing over and over again. And
yeah,
it felt like Ubisoft got a little lazy with it at times.
So a lot of games like that where go to this place, do this thing, go to this place, do the same thing. I get drawn off of them. Like the game can look amazing and stuff, and I'll play it. Then I'll get so far, I won't finish the game because I get bored. Because it's like, why? I'm just going here and doing this. Now I'm going here and doing this. It's like, that's not what I want to do. Now, if there's like side things to do, like where you're not just going to town, find this thing, find this object, take out this person, but there's other fun side things to do, I'll stay immersed into it. But if that's all it is, I lose focus.
I feel you. I think the older I get, the more I tend to lean towards like the freedom of just doing whatever in a lot of the games now, for the most part.
And see, that's one thing that got me with Ark is there's the story, but you can do whatever you want in there. You don't have to do the story.
Yeah, it's almost like what you do has nothing to do with the story at all. Like they don't affect each other. Like it's like here's the story, but you really don't. It's like it's very much in the background. It feels like.
And Ark is one game that I can sit there and play it, and I can die over and over, and I'll laugh. I won't get mad.
You kind of, I think anybody that plays that game, you have to go into it with the understanding that just don't get attached to anything.
Yep.
Oh, God.
I was actually talking to someone today how Brontos are my worst enemy. It's because when they're fighting things, they're
mad
swing
at
their
everything.
tail.
Yeah, they're just mad at everything. They're like a child throwing a tantrum. Absolutely.
Exactly. they swing their tail, and there you go flying. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm flying across the map now.
Now, so to switch gears a little bit, and this is only because you said you had mentioned about it. Now, I had assumed, but I wasn't sure that you were in the military. Yeah,
right.
So are you out now, or still in the military? Still active? Like, what's up? And your mic went out, I think.
There we go.
You there?
All right. So So I was in for 5 years. Went from 2010 to 2015.
What branch?
I was in Marines.
Damn. Okay.
It's not as hard as what everyone says.
There you go. You there?
Okay. I'm gonna throw this internet box out the window.
It's all good.
But so yeah, I went in with expectations of okay, this is gonna be the hardest thing I've ever done. Which I mean, okay, it was. But with the way everyone talked was it's nearly impossible. And it really wasn't. Like it's all mental. I was never like in shape and the most.
There you go.
Was it me?
Back.
Was it me?
Yeah, it was you.
This is wild. But
where's the opportune time?
I know.
Okay.
So yeah, I played baseball all my life, so I was never like super athletic. But I did the thing. And so going to boot camp, I was like, okay, this is going to be rough. And the 13 weeks of boot camp went by so quick, and I was like, oh, it's over. That wasn't bad at all. The hardest part for me was being away from family. Like, I've never been away from my hometown.
Oh, wow.
And so,
that's a shocker. Yeah.
So I graduated high school May of 2010, left October of 2010. 18 years old, off my own for the first time.
Yeah, that's got to be a little surreal.
Yeah, that's where it really sunk in. And then after that, like once I got to North Carolina to my duty station, I was fine. Obviously nervous, new place, new faces and stuff like that. But I went with people that I went to school with, to military police school, which is what I did.
Okay.
So obviously I'd been with them for. We were in Missouri for 6 months. So I mean, I knew people, and that kind of helped out a little bit. And then it just kind of took off from there.
So what made you make that decision to begin with?
So my original choice was the Air Force, which is wild. Yeah.
That seems like a polar opposite from my understanding.
Yes. So my uncle was in the Air Force for, I don't know how many years, over 20. And I kind of wanted to do the same thing. Went to the recruiter's office. They weren't in. Marine recruiter was in. I'm still weighing my options here. So I went in and talked. This is the pitch he sold me on.
Okay.
So you play baseball, right? I was like, yeah. You can play baseball for the Marines. Sold. Let's go.
That was it. So it's look. Huh?
I'm dead serious.
Okay.
And then on top of like, I never really challenged myself in life. Like I half-assed school. Like, I barely passed school. Just because I didn't apply myself. I was like, I need to challenge myself for once. And that's another thing that led me to, this is what I want to do. Like I want to go. I want to be a Marine. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it big.
Good on you. Good on you. I honestly, I think if there's, I don't have many regrets in my life. I think not serving in the military is probably one of the bigger ones.
And I hear a lot of people say that.
For me, it's because where I've had the privilege to work around a lot of military members.
Mm-hmm.
And the camaraderie between those individuals that they might be in the same branch, but they've never met each other a day in their life, you know. But when they're working together, it's like I don't know, it's just like another friend coming over almost. Like the camaraderie there was always something that was incredibly appealing to me.
And they probably look at each other and just say like the most off the wall things to each other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a good time.
And it's just, and like you said, it's like they've known each other for their whole life, and they probably haven't.
True, and I know, and a lot of my friends, because of where my career took me, a lot of my friends, like Raptor and quite a few others, were prior military, and there was like, yeah, I mean, sure, there was some things to complain about. It's like that anywhere you go, but the vast majority of stories and experiences that you heard from those individuals was good stuff. Like I haven't met a person yet when I go, do you regret not going? Do you regret going in the military? I've never heard anybody say yes.
Oh yeah, no. I get asked that all the time. It's like, do you regret what you did? No.
Yeah.
Like, and my other favorite one is, if you could go back, would you do it again? Yeah, I would. I would do things a little bit different.
Well,
like,
of course, hindsight. I mean, that applies to anything, though.
Yeah. One thing is, I wouldn't fall off the top of a Humvee and land on my back.
Ow. So that's what I was going to lead. That was the next thing I was going to ask. So you were in for 5 years.
Yeah.
Was there a plan to stay longer, or did something happen and you decided not to?
So I had planned to re-enlist and switch jobs from MP to EOD. I wanted to go play with explosives.
Boom,
and it's fun. Okay. So leading back to that is when I came home from deployment, I was talking to Mom. It's like, yeah, I was lead sweeper and stuff. I was the one sweeping for the IEDs. That doesn't surprise me.
Oh,
I was like, what do you mean? She's like, because you've always been like kind of thrill seekers, stuff like that, and not the smartest at things. It's like, yeah, true. And then I told her, it's like,
Mom.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I mean, she tells me all the time. She's like, I didn't think you were gonna make it through boot camp, and she's like, not that I didn't think you could. It's because of how your attitude is.
Yeah. Okay.
She thought I was going to haul off on one of the drill instructors. Like, no, I wanted to. But yeah, so I wanted to go EOD, and I don't know what it was with it. It definitely wasn't suit, because that thing weighed way too much. But I think what it is, it was the adrenaline, and I've already experienced it, and so I kind of wanted to continue doing it. And then on top of that, the experience from in there translating to civilian life, what I could do. Like there were so many opportunities. True.
Yeah. That opens up an I guess on the surface, you probably wouldn't think about it, but if you sit and just for a few seconds, yeah, that's probably applicable in a lot of different places, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially going from MP to EOD. So it's like police background, explosive ordnance background. It's like,
yeah,
there's a wide range.
Yeah.
So like I said, on deployment, I ended up, it was dumb. So I was in full gear and stuff. I was on top of the Humvee. And I tripped on something. I don't even remember what I tripped over. And I fell and I landed on my back. So I had my pack on. And so it was somewhat cushioned, but it wasn't. Mm-hmm. And I looked like a turtle that was on its back trying to get up. And when that happened, I ended up messing up my back a little bit. And it didn't start affecting me until a couple years later, working the gates, wearing the gun belt and the weight being shifted. I started having problems with my lower back. So it's like, I don't know if I could stay in or how long I would be able to. And then it came down to, I messed up my ankle on our run, on our PT test run. Failed the run because of it. Granted, I had a softball for an ankle. Finished the run in 30 minutes. We had to do it in under 28. Mm-hmm. Went to medical. Medical told me that I was overusing my ankle.
Well, they just wanted you to run for 28 minutes. So
yeah. And I told them what happened.
A little counterproductive.
Yeah. So I told them I stepped up on the curb so a car can come by, and when I step down, it rolled, which I have bad ankles anyways.
Oh,
and
I skateboarded for like 13 years. I can't tell you the amount of times I've rolled my ankles. I feel that pain as you say it.
Yeah, I
do. God, I hate that pain.
Actually, a couple years ago, I rolled it getting out of my buddy's truck.
It doesn't take much, just a weird misstep, and you're just completely screwed.
Mm-hmm. So that happened, and since I failed the PT test and medical didn't do anything, I got put on, it's called a remedial PT, which is the dumbest thing ever. They had us out at 4:00 in the afternoon in Hawaii. So it's pretty warm.
Yeah.
Out on the football field doing exercises with no shade, and we weren't allowed drinking water. And I was like, this is dumb. Like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I got in trouble so much because me and two other guys would walk over and we'd just get water, and we'd always get yelled at and stuff. So since I failed the PT test, and then obviously my attitude, I ended up getting screwed over on my promotion, and it came 6 months way too late for the promotion. So by that time I was like, I'm getting out. Like, I'm not staying in. I'm not putting my back on the line anymore for nothing. Like, I'm done. And so that's when I decided I'm getting out. And I was going to go to the police force, and then I just didn't feel I could with my back. It started getting worse. My shoulders are messed up. It's like, I can't do it. And yeah, here I am.
Especially your back, man. If you don't take care of that, it can wreck everything up.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I really took care of it. I wasn't supposed to be playing slow pitch softball, and I was.
Yeah, like I've had a lot of back issues too, knees and joints in general, but mainly that's from flying around on a piece of wood with wheels on it for a lot of years when I was younger.
True.
And yeah, I ignored a lot of the back issues that I had for a while, and then it started. I guess I ended up with like 3 bulged discs in my lower back, and it pressures that sciatic nerve thing, and I didn't know what that was. I always heard old people complain about it until it happened, and I was like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
I'm gonna die."
Yeah. So when I first came home, I actually got a warehouse job, and I was in shipping, just loading the trucks. Have you heard of Fanatics?
Fanatic, like specifically related to something, or just what Fanatic is in general?
It's a store. I didn't.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
So they do like sports memorabilia and stuff like that.
You know what? Maybe I have heard of it. I'm sorry. Go ahead though. Yeah.
You're good. So I mean, nothing in there's heavy. I mean, a lot of it's jerseys or stuff like that. So we're just throwing them onto the truck, and after 2 days of doing that, I couldn't get out of bed. My back was so swollen. I was like, I can't do this. And so it's like, now I'm very limited to jobs around my location because there's a lot of factory jobs. It's like, what can I do? And, I tried doing security guards and stuff like that. They were a joke. Like, I would never go back to doing those. Excuse me. And then it just got to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm going to get some kind of desk job. But what kind do I want to do? And then I started going down the graphic design path. And so now I'm in school for that. And that's what I'm going to do now.
Dude, sweet deal. That's good.
Yes. And I was like, sitting in a chair is not bad for my back because I can get up and move around.
Yeah. Plus, that's another thing that I think is a smart move, because just like the other two, skill sets that you acquired, it's very marketable in a lot of different places.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. That's a smart call. I remember when I was I was the same as you at school. I was a complete shit at school, and that's because I didn't apply myself.
Yep.
But art was one of the few classes I was involved in, and then I was actually accepted into a fairly prestigious art college nearby where I live at in Maryland. And I thought about taking it because they had started offering graphics and animation classes, and I was like, oh, that would be something cool to segue into. And then the career that I'm in now presented itself, and I just looked at it like, all right, student loan, student debt, or immediate job right now. So I went into the IT field instead. But
right now, see, if it wasn't for the GI Bill, I wouldn't go to college.
I don't blame you. Yeah, if it wasn't for that, yeah, I don't blame you.
That's the only reason why I've done it. And I mean, I'm on my 5th school. I mean, it's been a journey, and I finally found the school I'm in now. This is the one. Like, this is going to be the one where I actually finish. The other ones, it was just take, I was gonna say for like the other ones, take 3 English classes, take 2 math classes, and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't need these.
I always thought that was kind of odd with college, right? Like, if I'm paying you to go to the school, shouldn't I just be able to take the classes that I want to take and fuck all with the rest? Like,
right.
I've never really understood that. I never went to college. I'm glad I didn't, because I was just been asking that question all day till they kicked me out. But
okay, so the school I was in before this one, I had to take 2 English classes, passed the first one flying colors. I bullshitted my way through that one. The second one, English 2, I failed 3 times.
Jesus.
And I don't mean just barely failed. I mean, I failed. And it's because I could not write a persuasive paper.
What does that have to do with the graphic design? Damn it.
Exactly.
And education system in this country, I swear to God.
Well, see, someone made a good point about it. It's like, well, I mean, you kind of have to persuade people like with your designs and stuff like. But I'm talking about it. I'm not writing a paper.
Yeah, I just, man.
And like, I'm sitting there reading the paper. It's like, I'm pretty persuaded. I mean, it seemed good to me. At least a C. No, like, and so with this one, there was 4 classes for the first 4 months. There's like an intro to college type deal, a psychology class that wasn't truly psychology, a class where you research your degree field. I can understand a class like that. Like,
yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
and then
I wholeheartedly agree with that one. Yeah, for sure.
And then the 4th one was in English. My English class from the last school transferred, so I didn't have to take it. Thank you.
Thank God. There you go.
And then later on down the road, I had to take 1 math class. That's it. The rest is all design classes.
Good. Yeah, I feel like that's like so much better.
Yeah. I have no problem with doing an English class, a math class, and stuff like that, because I can see it being needed, because in design work and graphic design, if you're working for a company, you have to be able to explain. You have to do your pitch and stuff. Like, why did you make this? Why did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, I guess teaching you to articulate correctly. I mean, I guess I get that too.
But why do I need a persuasive paper and like a 3-page persuasive paper? Like, why do I need that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the education system. Like, I've been, like I said, I've been in IT for, God, this is 2023. So for, God, close to 10, no, wow, more than that, 10, almost 20. God. Getting close to, right? I'm like, it was 17 years in, basically. I never went back to school. Yeah. And I had no interest in, because of the same reason. I'm like, okay, my career field is in IT. I don't think I need like an English class for this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I didn't understand it. I think kind of like what you were talking about, if I was going to college and I wanted to become a writer, then by all means, put me in a damn English class. That makes sense to me. But oftentimes I feel like it's just a weird way for them to get more money, as bad as that sounds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. Like, okay.
Oh, there you go. You're gone again. There you go. You're back.
Okay. So the school I'm at now, it's a bachelor's degree in 2.5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
The last school was 4 years.
Oh, shit.
And it's because of all those extra classes.
Yeah, it sounds like something's coming down to money somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah,
and not to mention,
always come back to that, doesn't it?
Yep. And not to mention, this school has so many accredited graduates. Like, ones have gone on to work on Call of Duty, soundtrack.
I lost you again. Soundtrack, and that's all I got.
We good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So soundtracks for like video games and movies. So like, I mean, that's another thing that they don't throw it at you, but when you first apply and stuff, you do a virtual tour.
Mm-hmm. No, I lost you at virtual tour. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
You can hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. This is wild. I don't know what it could be. But yeah, so you do a virtual tour and like they just introduce you to like everything about the school, like the alumni and stuff.
Nice.
One of the halls is named after the guy that invented Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
He graduated from there.
That's neat.
Like,
yeah, that's got to set some. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good sign you're in the right place.
yeah, I mean, I think he was pretty successful.
Yeah, I think it worked out for him pretty well.
Just a little bit.
just a little bit. Oh, that's cool. All right. So you're how many years into this specific school?
This specific school, I am 5 months in.
5 months in. Hey, man.
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, yeah, I had to start completely over minus one class. I'll take it. I'm having more fun in this class or in this school than any of the other ones.
Gotcha. Now, so I know you said you kind of started streaming like on a dare. Is the intention, was it maybe to kind of use that to kind of help you out as far as like a form of income, or was it just a thing to goof off with? Like, I guess on a rating of 1 to 10, how serious were you kind of running with it?
1. Like I've never been about money and stuff with streaming. Like, I mean, yeah, it's nice when people drop the subs and stuff. I could care less if people do it. My big thing is I would rather have people hang out and talk and just like goof around and stuff with me than sub. Like, if you just want to follow and talk, hey, go for it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and I think actually that's something that from a viewer perspective, viewers might not always realize. Like, some people are completely comfortable where they're at and they don't need or want to go into anything crazy. So I almost feel like sometimes if you're a smaller content creator and you want to just be a smaller content creator and have your own little community of people to hang out with, I almost feel like there are people that may perhaps look at that from a negative light because they're assuming that you're looking for something bigger than that and you just haven't gotten there yet.
Right. So me and my buddy Chugs, when we streamed together and stuff like that, and if we got a Twitch payout, like one time we both got $250 from Twitch.
Damn.
In 1 month. And we took that $250, found a small streamer that was affiliate, and literally threw, $500 onto them.
Oh shit, dude.
We took all of our earnings and gave it back.
That's
just
so
a random person.
Damn. What was their reaction like? Did they shit themselves on stream?
So in total, we've probably made about 6 people cry.
Oh my God. That's so damn cool though. That's awesome.
Like, I mean, I could have easily, kept that money in PayPal and saved it. I mean, I earned it. I don't care about that money. I mean, it didn't bother me. And I mean, why not give it back? Like that's my big thing. And sometimes it's an issue with me is I'm very giving.
I can see where sometimes that's an issue, but I mean, I don't know. When I think about probably the majority of people creating content on Twitch are just grinding it out, streaming all the time, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, like you said, like doing that, wondering in the back of their head, is it ever going to take off? Is anything going to happen? And one of those people might have been on the brink of just saying, fuck it, I'm done with this. And then all of a sudden you show up and this happens. Like, I don't know. You literally could have just changed somebody's mindset like 180 degrees.
Oh, exactly. And someone else made a good point, and it really made me think about it. I'm just like, in a way, it could kind of get their hopes up even more, though, because it's at one time. I was like, I mean,
I don't know, but I think even if they got to the point where they're like, all right, it isn't going anywhere, and they walked away with it, they are never going to forget that day.
Yeah.
Period.
And that's where I was going to say, like, I see both points. I see both views. Like, it was a good thing, but also it's like,
like I said, you could say the same thing when a big streamer raids a small streamer, though. Like, are all those people going to stick around all the time after that?
And come back?
Probably not. Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of that is, I don't know. I think if you were to go to ask that person, hey, would you rather me not done that thing? I'm pretty sure they're going to tell you, no.
No.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
And it's weird saying, like, I get joy out of people crying over that. Like, it's weird to say.
It's weird to say. It's the emotional response. Like, to know that you've impacted somebody on that level. Mm-hmm. Not like they're, like, mad and angry crying. Like, it's a joyful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those days are wild.
And you've done this how many times?
We've made 6 people do it. So there's actually one guy, he got banned on Twitch because he was doing he was a psychologist, mm-hmm. and he was doing not full-on practices, but kind of bringing people on and talking to them.
Was this a fairly big guy? Because I feel like I've seen some of those clips.
No, he was smaller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Never mind. And he ended up getting banned because he was doing practice on stream, and he really wasn't.
That's muddy water because of the whole doctor-patient thing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's muddy water. I don't. Yeah, I think if the patient said yes, I'm okay with it. I think it's fine, mm-hmm. but I can totally see where Twitch is like, let's legally cover our butts.
Yeah, so he ended up coming back and did a whole different persona with it, and still did a show like that, but didn't go as serious with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew him, and we ended up. He was one of the ones that he did, and he was about to have a kid, and so we did that. And he broke down so hard because they had hit a hole. And like just that right there helped. I'm like, oh, I mean that.
Yeah, you never know how that can impact somebody's life, man. That's
and
awesome.
And granted, he was very cheery, go lucky, always and energetic. And then that happened, we're all like, are you good? Are you okay? And then he explained everything.
Oh, jeez. That's awesome, though. That's really cool. So I guess I kind of answered my own question, because one of the repetitive questions that I keep asking people is like, if you could kind of snap your fingers and you're at the end goal of what you want to accomplish on some of these platforms, like what would it be? But it almost feels like you're kind of there already to a degree.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what my thing is. I mean, like I said, so the streamer I mod for now, I tell her all the time, is like, because she's like, oh, I need to start shouting you out and stuff. I was like, no, you don't, because one, I hardly stream anymore. Like, I'll do it here and there. Two, like, I get more joy modding. I have more fun doing that because I know I'm helping, and obviously, like, doing subs and stuff like that. I would rather do that than stream anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what I get more joy out of it because it's helping others, which is one reason why I wanted to go into graphic design, especially with the way this stuff takes off. There's always someone looking for some kind of design.
It's true.
And I don't know how many times I've made just like simple headers and stuff like that, or simple logo design, nothing high tier and stuff like that, but just something simple to help get them started and not charged, and just do it. And they would always go, like, how much do I owe you and stuff? Like, nothing. Like, I mean, I just did it to do it. And they would always end up finding my PayPal and stuff and sending something. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. So then I started doing, if someone came to me and asked me for something and then asked how much, I was like, just go off a tip system. Whatever you want to pay it. I was like, if you want to pay me $5 for a header or logo and I don't know, I'll be right back, like picture.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I don't care. One, it's practice for me, and two, I'm helping you. And that's where the joy comes.
I would have to, and I don't like blowing smoke up anybody's ass, but I believe giving credit where credit is due. That mentality is such a goddamn rarity.
Oh, I know. It really is. You don't see that in anyone anymore.
No, you genuinely don't. You don't see that nearly as much as you probably should. I think that's a wonderful mentality to have.
Especially on these platforms, because it's, you said it before, it's there's so many people that are in it for themselves. They don't care about others and stuff like that. They can say they do, but in the end, it's about them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is a competition. If you're trying to make a career out of it, it's a competition,
right?
It is, and I don't anybody that's if anybody's trying to make a competition out of it, or if they're trying to make a career out of it, and they're telling you it's not a competition, they're full of shit.
Right.
Yeah. So it can get kind of cutthroat sometimes. So to see somebody just come in and just genuinely just do something just because it's a kind thing to do, I think there's something to be said there. That should be recognized, I think.
Mm-hmm. Now, my favorite one was I got blocked by someone because that's happened numerous times, but for this specific reason, he came to me. He asked me. He's like, "Hey, can you make me a new just our stream starting scene?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, no problem. I asked him. I was like, "What do you want? Like, what kind of design? What colors and stuff?" He's like, "Well, just make whatever you think looks good." Okay, what I think looks good might not be what you think looks good.
Yeah, there's a lot of subjectiveness there.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, okay, just do things with like reds and blacks and stuff." I was like, "Okay." So I go look at his stuff, and he had kind of like a fire theme type going. I was like, "Okay." So I just did a simple overlay. It was like kind of ashy. It had like kind of like lava behind it, mm-hmm. and with some smoke coming through with the words. I sent it to him. He's like, "Well, that's really not what I'm looking for." I was like, "Okay."
Motherfucker, you just said do what I want.
Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, well," I was like, "Well, I can make another one. It's not a big deal." Didn't hear back from him. I was like, "Okay, work, whatever." Next thing you know, I'm blocked. I'm like, "Oh, okay." It's like,
just because I don't
know why I got blocked.
I don't know. It sounds like this guy ain't playing with a full deck. Or he's like, there's some people that pull that shit just because they're unwilling to just tell somebody what they want.
Yeah. And I'm just like, if
he came out of the gate like that, I feel like all of that would have been avoided.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of
it's like, but when you open up with do what you want, I like these colors. Okay, I'm going to go off of what you have. I'll go research. I'll see what you have.
Yeah.
And I'll somewhat match it. Yeah, no. Yeah, like, okay.
Yeah, like what the I don't even understand. Like, I hope this guy doesn't have tattoos because that shit ain't gonna go his way either.
I think he does.
I can't imagine how that went. Oh, just do your thing. Put some red and blacks in there.
Yeah. Oh, that says mom. I don't like it. I'm like,
oh my god. You can't please some people though. That person's not going to be happy with anything though. It doesn't really matter what you do.
He seemed pretty cranky all the time.
Do you see a lot of that? Like, does that happen? That can't happen often.
I've had a lot of them where they do the whole, well, do what you think looks good. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I kind of go like match your theme. Like one guy who's a Sea of Thieves player. Mm. Okay. So I go with, ocean theme type deal. And one of the things he wanted was a logo. Okay, so I went with like a cartoony skull, and his colors are. He's a big Packers fan, so a lot of his colors are green and yellow. Green, so I went with So I went with like a shade of green, and a little bit of yellow in it and stuff. He's like, "Well, I want kind of like this style." Okay, we're getting somewhere with what you want. About 6 different styles later, I just stopped hearing from him. And then he messaged me a couple days. He's like, "Sorry, I got business. No big deal." I was like, "Well, what did you think about the last one?" He's like, "Well, I just don't know." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "So what's the deal here? What's going on?" Didn't hear from him. And then he just messaged me randomly, just talking. Like, "So do you not want the stuff anymore?" Like, what's going on? And like, I mean, I just didn't hear from him, so I deleted everything.
And did he ever come back or?
No.
God,
he didn't block me.
I just like, especially if you get into, I think if you're a person that's looking for a thing, regardless of what that thing is, and you go to the person that can make that thing, you have to know what you want. Like, that person might be really talented, but they're not a mind reader.
Yeah. and see, a lot of people that come here like are from others that know me and have been, I've been recommended and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like I tell my friends, like I'm still learning, like I'm still new. I don't do top tier everything. Like, I mean, it's a learning curve.
Right, but you're setting up the expectation. I get it.
Yeah. And which is another reason why I never charged. And I did the whole tip thing, like pay what you want. Because then that kind of gives me an idea of where am I at? Like, what can I start charging and stuff like that?
Makes sense. You get a feel for it. Yeah. Plus, like you said, you get an experience doing something that you're literally going to school for. So
exactly.
I see it. Yeah.
And I think when they get the things, they're expecting something that they would go on Fiverr and pay $100 for. It's like, you're not getting that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things on Fiverr you're paying $100 for through an app. They're not real.
I am, especially now, man. I think that's probably just gotten worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
I think I went to Fiverr in the beginning and I tried to stay away from it because it was clear as day that, like, yeah, it was just something an app generated for them and they just threw it at me. I
have one thing from Fiverr and I still actually use it. It was my very first emote I ever had. And you can tell it's hand drawn. It's a red Power Ranger that's waving. And it's clearly hand drawn and I still use it to this day. But that's the only thing I've ever bought off Fiverr. And that's when I first started.
And so I've actually went and done a couple of other things on Fiverr, but I can tell when an artist actually like wants to sit down and look at something and work something with me at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell that it's something that they're creating. When I don't hear anything and it's just here's the result, I'm like, okay, all right, dude, come on. Really?
That or when you go through their pictures and it's the same design every time, just with different wording and like different shapes and stuff. And you scroll down the page and you see someone else with very, very similar logos.
It's all the damn same. Then you can probably pick it out. And I don't know. I guess it depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, that's got to be a kind of a man.
And now you got the AI art generators coming out.
I have seen some of that, and I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I guess you probably have a better opinion on it than I would. But I feel like it's to a degree stealing from work that somebody could have potentially put a lot of damn time into.
So not only that, but a lot of the things that get generated are stolen from people that have made things. There's certain things you can type in and like say one of the things I did was for my buddy Chogs. It was like an SC logo and I typed it in and it literally brought up someone's design and you could tell that it was for someone that someone else made.
Damn.
And I'm just like, this is kind of grimy. Like,
yeah.
And on top of that, there's YouTube videos of people put out, hey, this is how, new hustle make or sell stickers. And they're going to an AI generated app, typing something in, make stickers and selling them.
And I knew that's what was going to happen, right? Because the whole Chat GPT thing, when that came out too, everybody's like, how to make money with Chat GPT. I'm like, how to get off your lazy ass and do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, unfortunately, it's something that sounds really good on paper because it sounds like just a wonderful idea. But the problem is you incorporate people.
Yes.
People are many and varied, and a lot of them are flawed.
Yes. And it's just like, like I said, you go on Etsy. Mm-hmm. My buddy sent me a little figure. It was a Pikachu that was like different anime styles. And someone was selling on there for like $50 or something like that. So I go on Amazon because I knew exactly what it was. I went on Amazon, found it $15. And I'm just like, yeah. I'm just like, how? I told him, I was like, you didn't buy that, did you? He's like, no, I just sent it to you. I was like, good, because if you want one, go to Amazon. And I sent him the link. He's like, oh, wow.
Bunch of scammers.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens in a lot of places now. Like there's a lot of like people that promote that as a way to make money. Just like run around and swindle people. It's a weird day and age we live in. But I feel like a lot of it's just like, how do I get the most money without putting forth nearly as much effort?
Exactly.
That's so weird.
Make the easy buck.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I definitely understand from your, especially after talking to you for a little bit and kind of understanding the personality a little bit. I definitely see where the moderation of the modding and of streamers is that probably more rewarding to you. Are you just modding for one streamer, multiple streamers? Like what's going on?
At one point I was actually modding for well over 10 people.
Damn. This guy's kind of busy.
Oh yeah. I mean, they were different times of the day. Some of them were same time, which got very hectic.
Probably pretty confusing.
Yeah. But with me just doing school right now and I'm constantly at my computer. So when they're doing day streams, it's easy. Like I'm at my computer anyways. And so, I mean, I started getting experience doing it and started really looking up like different commands to help make the streams a little fun in the chat and stuff.
Right on.
Like the one I'll do random polls. Like one of the polls I did is Bearded Sensai the coolest person ever? Like, I mean, just random.
Just to get people to interact, kind of.
Exactly. And people were interacting with it, and it became a joke in the chat. The streamer started joking with it too, and kind of got things, helped the streamer out, kind of get things flowing. And so, like, I'll do random polls like, does pineapple belong on pizza, and like things like that.
Oh yeah, and I've been down that rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, and
you can have a civil war in my chat that day. They're probably still talking about it somewhere.
Well, see, there's one guy in there. So it's a running joke. It happened out of nowhere. It's a running joke now that every stream I time him out for 10 seconds, just randomly. And a lot of times, as soon as he says the first thing in the chat, I time him out
for no reason.
Yeah, for no reason at all. And so now, like, if I'm in another stream, he's in there. He is. Oh, you can't do it here. Like that happened today, and I was joking with the streamers, like, "Hey, mod me real quick." She's like, "Okay," like not thinking about it, and he goes, "Oh no," and so he got timed out in there.
It's fun to have that. I imagine you build probably just as many connections, maybe in certain situations even more moderating for streamers than you do actually streaming.
Yeah. To me, I feel like I connect with people a little bit more. Because it's not like I'm focused on that and not playing a game and watching chat at the same time and trying to talk.
Yeah, it's a direct focus. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah,
exactly. And I have a little bit more range to joke around more than what I do when I'm in a game. Especially like if I'm playing Smite, like it's hard to interact with chat so much because it's an active game. Like I'm actively doing things. Whereas if I'm modding, I mean, I can just do whatever.
Gotcha. Another reoccurring question. So like, and I guess this applies to being a modder and then also being a streamer as well. What do you think some of the bigger challenges have been with either one of these?
Biggest challenge for me with streaming was back when I did it all the time, not at the beginning doing the 7 days. But when I actually had a schedule, was just staying motivated to do it, like, and keeping on focus that I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it just to do it, like, because it did get to a point where I had a consistent paycheck coming in through Twitch, and I'm just like, this is nice, like,
yeah, this
is nice having this come through, and like, I mean, I hit close to 200 subs in 1 month. I'm like,
oh shit.
Yeah, I know. I was like, this is really nice.
Yeah.
First time it's ever happened. I let it go to my head. The next month comes along, and I seen that drop off, and I'm nowhere close to that. I'm just like, oh, well, I'm back to square one. So why even keep doing it? I lost focus. I didn't stay focused on why I was doing it. So I'd have that inner talk with myself, like that this isn't why I started doing it. I did it because I enjoy video games. I enjoy interacting with people. And it's a place for people to just come hang out, like get away from work and stuff like that. And I know there's millions of streams, but they choose to come there. I mean, so that's my big thing, is trying to stay focused on my goal of it, which was, like I said, just a place to relax, hang out, come be yourself.
And it has, so you mentioned having kind of had that self pep talk. Has that been the easiest way to kind of help center you back in those situations, or has there been anything else?
I would end up taking extended breaks. Sometimes it's like a week, sometimes 2 weeks, just to kind of regain focus of, like I said, why I was doing it. Mm-hmm. And then I'd fire the stream back up and just like, okay, I'm back to how I was. Like this is why I'm doing it. You know, we're hanging out. I've never really built a community. It's just like I've had people come in and hang out and stuff like that. They're reoccurring, but I've never had like that consistent community, I guess you can say. And it's never bothered me, because I know the ones that are, you know, they're pretty much every stream and come hang out. I know it's because they enjoy hanging out with me. It's not because, you know, I'm some big streamer and I'm going to give them things for being there. And so like that's a big thing, is knowing that those that show up, they enjoy it. They enjoy watching it, and it's me providing entertainment.
Right on. Right on. So I guess I can ask you this, because you're kind of involved in both at this point. From a moderator standpoint, has there been like any like big challenges on that side? And if so, like what do you do to kind of combat that?
The biggest one with that is, when do I time someone out? When do I not? Like, how far is the streamer going to let it go? Because it's like, it could be a clear joke and stuff like that, but to me, it's very derogative and it shouldn't be said. But the streamer kind of just like lets it go and like jokes along with it. It's like, I want to delete that message and time them out for it.
Yeah,
I do it? Do I let it go?
Do you communicate like directly with the streamers, or some sort of like little, you know, like side communication or something like that? Like, how do you know that they're just, I guess in those situations, how do you know that the streamer's actually okay with it and they're joking around with it, or how many times, or if they're just trying to laugh it off, sort of, if that makes sense? So
if I'm very unsure about it, I'll shoot a message in Discord. And then if they don't see it yet, I'll just put in chat like, hey, I sent you something on Discord, you need to look, and like make it seem like it's a joke.
Gotcha.
And then so that way, and then we kind of communicate that way a little bit. But I try to do it when, and I'll do it like, hey, when you get the chance type deal. So that it's not like, hey, you need to go look now and interrupt the stream.
Gotcha.
So
that'd
like
be
that,
but not like make it the center of attention. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Don't stop doing what you're doing to go look, but this is here. And like in the one Discord, we actually have a channel. It's called On Watch. And so if there's someone in there that's like on the line, we're kind of letting it go. We post it in there like, hey, like this is the name, kind of keep an eye out, and stuff like that.
Good. Yeah.
So we keep tabs on it
without disrupting the chat or what's going on in the stream. That's a smart idea. Right. For sure. Yeah, it's a good idea. I think that's a good idea for any streamer to work with their mods in that fashion. I don't know if they all do or not. I think for me, I've always been pretty damn direct whenever I was streaming though. And having a smaller audience, I just went like, I went directly at somebody for making stupid comments and just shut them down. Like I will full stop everything and just tell that person they're an a-hole and then to throw them out. I don't have any tact like that.
See, I've banned very few people in my stream, and it's because if they come in trying to troll, I'll fire back. I have no problem. And a lot of times, like if they come in saying something about me, I'll say something about myself back. which is one thing about me, and it throws people off so much, and it's hilarious because they freeze. It happened a lot, like playing softball. Someone start, talking about me and like, oh, you're a fat guy. You don't do anything. I'm like, yeah, I know I am. And I'll start like talking about myself like that. And they're like, wait, what? Like, did you really just say it?
Yeah, it's almost how like a comedian can be self-deprecating.
Exactly.
Yeah. No,
they freeze up. They're like, wait, you just talked about yourself like that? I was like, yeah.
It's a way to diffuse the situation for sure.
Yeah. I've made so many friends by doing that. Like, I mean, I've had viewers stay because I did it. They're like, wait, like I tried to troll you. It's like, I know. It doesn't work.
Gosh. That's cool.
I kind of feed into it sometimes too.
Yeah, I mean,
which makes it worse.
Yes and no. I mean, I think sometimes, but you can de-escalate a situation that way, though, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, which is probably the best bet. And all in all, like, it's probably not great to take the same approach that I do and just hit somebody with a band hammer and walk away.
Oh, I mean, there's certain times where I can tell what kind of person it's going to be, and if I don't get to it, one of my mods will. I'm like, yeah, it's like that's fine.
Sure, fair enough.
Like if I catch him, like, hey, thanks. Like, that's it.
So we're getting close on this 2-hour mark, but there was definitely one more thing that I wanted to make sure, like damn sure, that we talked about, and that was the charity that you seem to be very active with. I wanted to know if maybe you wanted to talk about a little bit about that and what it's about, and then maybe what kind of drew you to that cause.
So like I said before, it's called Stop Soldier Suicide. I actually randomly found it on Facebook. Actually, I think Mom tagged me in it. They were doing a 30-hour gaming challenge is what it was called. And all it was is just you play video games for 30 hours, log them, and that's it. Like, it didn't have to be one day, obviously. I mean, that's a lot. But it's just kind of to help raise awareness for the rate of suicides within veterans. Actually, not just veterans, but military members in general. And then they also reach out to fire, EMS, police, because that rate is high also. But that's pretty much what the cause is for. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard the 22 a day.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's really insane. So May of 2014, I had two buddies do it. And yeah, so, and not to get like down on this, but that's one reason why that charity meant so much to me, and that's what drew me into it. I knew for a fact that I want to raise money for this. Was it 3 or 4 guys that run it? They were all prior service in the same situation. So that's why they started the foundation. They're all out of North Carolina. And so, yeah, that's, like I said, that's what, as soon as I seen what it was for and seen that it was legit, that was the first thing I did. Make sure it was legit. I was like, there was no need for a charity event either. Like, I mean, it's an active event, like an active charity. But I was like, well, if I'm going to do 30-hour challenge, let's see what I can do with it. You know, I'm going to do a 12-hour stream. Never done one. And one of my channel point redemptions was for a 12-hour stream. And someone actually had redeemed it already, so I already owed one. So it's like, I'll do it that day. Like, this is when I'm going to do it. And that's why it turned into a 12-hour, which honestly was not as bad as what I thought.
Yeah. God, I can't imagine doing 12 hours. Yeah. I heard of that particular stream. I think your mom was the one who told me about it. I was in a stream. I think I might have been streaming when she told me that. And I was like, send me the information on Discord, because this sounds awesome and I want to make sure I'm there for it. And that's how I actually found you there. And I feel like there's some ways that we treat our veterans really well, and there's other ways that I think we could do a lot better.
Yes.
A lot better.
Yes. You see it all the time where, I mean, I know on my Facebook and stuff, there's people that I was in with, or crossed paths with at one point, never really talked, and you see them all the time. Like they'll post something like something happened to them, and you can just tell from that post like there's something wrong.
Mm.
But you don't see people commenting on it and like reaching out to them. Like, they might be in messages and stuff like that, but it's just like you kind of just blow it off. It's like why? Like why? Like, and it's not just so much being a veteran; it's they're people.
Yeah, I mean I mean, definitely, especially in the day and age we live in, where I think I think that awareness towards mental illness and things like that is becoming a bit more apparent than it was, 20, 30 years ago. It was usually chalked up to something else, but
yeah,
I feel like you kind of hit the nail on the head there when things might get kind of blown off, for sure. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so like I said, that once I got that information from that charity and I started reading about it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna see what I can raise with it. Like I said, I mean, I set the bar low. I was like, I'm not gonna try to pull like a lot. One thing that kind of got me was like everyone was like, okay, we need to hit the 700 mark. So that's what the goal was, mainly because I had to shave my beard.
Yeah. I might have had something to do with that.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't lie. The beard didn't get shaved, but it did get very trimmed. Like it was short. I couldn't go through with it. I couldn't.
You were so attached.
Couldn't do it. But everyone's so like, oh, we need to hit 700. I'm just like, you don't have to just hit 7 though. It seemed like they saw that number and they're like, boom, that's where we have to go. It's like, it's for a cause. Yeah. And I don't want to make it sound like I wanted people to do more. It was just the way some of the people were talking in the chat. It was like, okay, 700 a goal. We should be able to do that easily. It's like, yeah. But it's not just about me shaving my beard. Like this money's going towards, and that's another thing I should cover about the charity. It was every $10 or no, every $30 was 1 hour of a session for a veteran.
Oh, so like actual like working with a therapist or a psychiatrist or something. Okay.
And I mean, 1 hour is a lot. That is a long time in a session. So I was doing counseling when I was in Hawaii. They were 15-minute sessions and it seemed like forever. Like 15 minutes seemed like 2 hours.
I believe it.
So I can just imagine what that 1 hour would do. And that's a big thing with it because it's not cheap. That stuff's not cheap to do. And all the money that was raised goes straight towards, I don't know where they do it through, but wherever they do it through, like that money goes straight to them, and a veteran can go in and get the time they need. So I mean,
I imagine they probably work with a specific, if not groups of therapist psychiatrists. Yeah, there's probably some connections built there for that reason. Plus, I would imagine that there are probably not knowing very much about it, but I would assume that there's probably therapist psychiatrists that are maybe a bit more in tune with working with somebody who's been in the military or maybe police force or something like that. Someone who's clearly what I might be subject to in my daily life is not on par with somebody who might have experience in a combat zone, Right.
So someone that can kind of relate.
Yeah. That's awesome though. That's really wow. Yeah. So that's an hour each. Wow. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And like I said, an hour is a very long time.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of information. Like I never thought staring at a light bright. I'm sure a lot of people that watch this might not know what a light bright is.
Google it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. But that's what this machine looked like. And it just had a light that lit up. And there was like, just stare at the light and follow it. Follow with your eyes. Mm-hmm. And so it would do different patterns each time. And so you'd follow it. And before you started, you'd come up with like a couple topics. And she would pick one of the topics and boom, that's what you're talking about while you're doing it. And she'd just say like,
it's just a way to distract you, really, kind of.
Yeah. And it was like, think about what this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're thinking about it while you're following this light, and she starts saying more about it, and your body starts reacting on its own. And at one point, I don't remember the situation, but she stopped. She's like, okay, stop. And I was like, okay, what? She's like, you were clenching your fist pretty hard. She's like, you were white knuckled. I was like, oh, I had no idea. I was like, that is wicked. Like I had no idea I was doing it. It's a natural reaction from the body. And a couple of sessions of that, and like I started feeling better. So it's just like, why would you not want to help with that? I mean,
for sure. I think some of it might be generational to a degree. I think years past, you had a generation that didn't really have the same information that we have today. So it might have been chalked up to something different. Mm-hmm. And, I talked to, not to give too much away because it's not out yet. It'll come out Monday. But the guy I talked to recently was in that situation years ago. And he was kind of told to just bury it, just bottle it up, just set it aside. And I'm like, God, that's the last thing you could do. But at the time, they didn't know any better.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing to say. I mean, bury it deep, move on. Yeah, and it's just like not everyone can. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And eventually, someone just hits that point where they just break. I mean, whether it's doing that or someone else. I mean,
or developing addictions and things like that. Yeah. I mean, that kind of applies everywhere, but it's
and like I said, it's not just veterans; it's people in general. Like, reach out and help people. Like, talk to them, say hi. Yeah. Like you said about doing the whole stream donation thing. Who knows what they were going through? That right there could have just really changed their mindset.
Yeah, I find myself, especially probably in the last like 7 or 8 years, a lot of times I see events and I see actions and I think about the ripple effect, right? Like the pebble in the water and then all the ripples that happen after that, and how many things you could possibly affect while having no idea that you're affecting it. Now, you could have thought you and your friend were doing something just really cool and really fun to just give back to somebody and that you think would be appreciative of it. And there is no way to tell what kind of level emotionally, mentally that person was on. And you could have just changed their day or possibly changed their life with just that one action.
Right.
Oh, man. That's wonderful. I think the world could use some more of that for sure.
Yeah. It's
especially these days, man.
It's very faint these days.
It's looking pretty rough for us these days.
Yeah, that's
oh, man.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, well, I think we can probably wrap this up at this point, but I just thank you again for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course.
And that was a lot of cool information. I learned a little bit there myself too, for sure. But,
yeah, I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna see it come out. I have a video coming out Monday. I'm trying to push them like 2 weeks out. It's probably roughly about 2 weeks from now. It's probably when I'll put it out there.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sure if I don't get the notification, someone else will.
I'll send you some on Discord. I got you on Discord now, man. I can track you down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got a connection right out in the living room.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, because I'm staying here for now, so.
For sure.
All day today. What time are you going? What time are you doing that? What time are you going on? You know.
Well, let's see. We got to do this again, and we can bring her on too.
Hey, I'll go get it right now.
I got to take my old ass to bed is what I got to do. I got to get up early in the morning.
Yeah, I need to finish schoolwork.
Oh, God, yeah, then we need to both go. But again, I definitely appreciate it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of really cool information and a really great cause that you were working with. And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I appreciate it. Anytime you want to do it again, let me know.
For sure, man. For sure.
All
right, sir. Have a good evening, and thanks again.
All right, yeah, you too.
See ya.
See ya.